Anyways, the final movie we watched this week was the 2002 film 28 Days Later, as requested by Tanner. Please tell us about it.
That's right. 28 Days Later is a zombie story. We see some monkeys kill some people, then a guy wakes up in a hospital, and then he's wandering around zombie-infested London. He's like, "Oi, what's all this then?" And there's zombies, and then he meets a lady, and then he meets a child, and then he takes them to a mansion, and they almost get raped, and then he saves them in the end. Fun fact, the director exclusively casted athletes to play the infecteds because he thought they'd look cooler or something.
Okay.
Dude, this movie copied the intro of The Walking Dead.
I was gonna make that fucking joke, you stupid bum bitch bastard.
Tanner, did you notice at the beginning of this film, it seems to be rather reminiscent of the beginning of The Walking Dead?
I'm gonna shove both your heads in your own toilet. I am currently sitting at... I'm in between an S and an S minus.
Oh my god.
Jackson, how about you?
I am significantly lower than you. I give this a C+ currently.
Oh, thank god. Jesus.
I'm thinking like a B-.
Nico, I'm glad you said that. I also said B-, and I thought I was about to get fucking nailed to a cross because I've been fumbling these rankings all week.
You'll still get nailed to a cross. Like, let's not make any mistakes here. You guys are absolutely cracked.
And Tanner's always complaining. He's like, I don't rate the classics high. What are you talking about?
Dude, there's plenty of instances where that hasn't happened. I only rate the good classics high.
Yeah. I want to speak my piece first. Please shut up, Tanner. Thank you.
Let me say my piece first.
Motherfucker, that defeats the point of me saying I want to say my piece first.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so basically, I'm very conflicted on this movie. I say this a lot when I was watching it with Nico, but this movie does a lot of things really well, but it also does a lot of things really poorly. Specifically, like that opening sequence I think is really fucking good, where they have the music and the rising action and intensity when the main character is trying to like figure out more about his scenario, and then it climaxes with like a very intense feeling, like, you know, rush down with the zombies and him trying to escape. I think it's very well done. It has a lot of really cool scenes and interesting cinematography they do throughout the entire film. Like the fucking rain scene when he's like a covert operative trying to take down this fucking like military squad. I think a lot of the cinematography for that was pretty sweet. A lot of just cool shots. Interestingly made movie for the most part, especially with what they were doing. Like, this is a pretty low budget movie, and I think they made great use of their budget for the most part. But also, there's just a lot of issues I have with the plot, pacing, and just general tone of it. Like, the whole mid part of the movie felt very fucking weird to me, where it's just like very like low stakes for the most part. They're kind of just fucking around. It felt like they didn't really understand the scenario they were in, or they acting like it was lesser than it truly was, especially like the battle-hardened woman she was with, or they were with. I feel like she would be the like kind of voice of reason in this group, but she wasn't really acting like that at all. She was just kind of like acting like the rest of them, and it felt very tonally dissonant for me, unfortunately. And yeah, the movie is just like, it has its highs that are pretty good, but it also has a lot of really dumb, stupid fucking lows. Also, even just like the idea of our main character going like fucking SEAL Team 6 on the enemies was pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, that just like last third act was pretty a little I was about to say abysmal. That's not a word, but you know what I'm trying to get. It wasn't great.
I'm very conflicted because I see the potential in this movie, and I'm definitely curious about learning more about the world they're trying to portray, because I do like the idea of like the things after the apocalypse and trying to live within that society. I think they're interesting concepts. And yeah, I don't know. I'm very conflicted because I wanted to like this movie more than I did, because it does have a lot of those really cool, interesting scenes that I liked a lot, but also it just has so many detractors for me that it brings me down a lot.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, to be honest. I will say the things that you thought were good, I liked more than you, I think, and the things you thought were bad, I didn't hate as much as you, is probably what's happening there. I think the biggest thing this movie does fantastic is atmosphere. It is super atmospheric, just like all these shots of him wandering around a completely abandoned London. One scene that really just, and I'm sure you guys would agree, stands out in my mind is when he enters the church And it's when he first sees some infected where he goes hello, and then just those two in the crowd go, and then just like fucking lock onto him.
It scared the shit out of me.
Dude, that actually gave me chills when I watched it. It's such a well done moment. I agree with what you're saying on sort of the middle section, where I think there's some weird choices on specifically the music they're playing and kind of the tone. It's a lot lighter than you'd think it should be.
Yeah.
Which it can be kind of interesting, but
they're trying to make you really feel like they're a family now. This is like a good group of people. They all love each other.
And then they kill their dad in the dumbest way possible 10 minutes later.
That's also I struggle on how I feel about that one too, because I agree it's like, damn, that sucks that he just went out randomly like that, but that also kind of plays into like that's just kind of what this world is. You can go at a moment's notice. The moment where like the one dude that he initially met gets infected, and she just fucking. At first I thought she was cutting his arm off, but no, she just fucking murked that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. I was very caught off guard with that.
That was a very intense scene.
Just to not lose the thread here too with the fucking dad dying thing. I think mostly the thing that fucks me up about that scene over anything else is like they're fucking around this like little like entrance to this base for a while there. And the people, like the military guys, just aren't doing anything until the guy gets infected, and then they start just fucking blasting him. All of this could have been resolved if they just came out of hiding earlier or something, but they take a very long time to do that. Maybe you could explain, maybe they're waiting to see what they do or something, but like it just seems dumb and kind of contrived to me.
I was actually gonna say that kind of is what saves that moment for me, because like we find out, they just want to rape women. And so them letting him get himself killed just makes that kind of easier for them.
My question is like what their plan was in the first place if he didn't die in the dumbest way possible, where a drip of blood falls into his fucking eye. Like they weren't planning on that happening, were they?
No, I wouldn't say so. They were taking advantage of an opportunity.
So that's what I'm saying is I don't understand why they'd wait in the first place then. Why not just go when the Gittins are hot there?
That's fair enough. I agree it seems a tad silly, Jim going fucking sicko mode. I do think they portray, like, he's not, like, running in guns blazing for the most part. He's, like, sneaking around and being intelligent, so it didn't totally take me out of the movie, but I agree it starts stretching the believability here.
Also, like, the younger girl's acting during that part is just, like, real weird. She's like, so fucking zonked out of it.
I do think it was funny as fuck, but just runs up and, like, breaks something on the guy's fucking head because she thinks he's a zombie. That was pretty funny.
That was the weird part for me, too. I thought her acting was good for the most part for a majority of the movie, and then, for some reason, when it mattered the most, when her dad died, I didn't feel her acting wasn't very strong there to me. Like, and maybe somebody could argue, like, she just fucked up from the zombie apocalypse. She already watched her mom die from a zombie infection. Maybe that's why she's not super fucked up about it. I feel like, though, the direction of her character in that moment was supposed to be hella fucked up, and she just was not displaying that properly. Maybe that's just me. But, like, I expect her to be more emotionally distraught, especially, like, later when we find her curled in a corner crying to herself. It was just off.
I kind of disagree, just 'cause, like, the direction they decided to go with her is that her reaction to her father getting killed was to shut down, not, like, start bawling and crying.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'm not saying that's not the case. It just didn't feel that way, because it definitely felt like she was supposed to have, like, an emotional breakdown in that moment. It just didn't happen. I also think that the way the dad went out was super anticlimactic, and I guess not everybody in a zombie movie has to go out in a climactic sort of way, but I just think he was there. It's one of those dumb things have to happen moments, and I don't know if I consider this a horror movie, but in horror movies where, like, characters have to be dumb for things to happen, I guess you can't anticipate a drop of blood falling from a dead body into your eyeball. But, like, also, they know how the virus is spread. Why would you even take that risk, to be completely honest? There was just some moments in this movie, like, in the part where they were, like, at the cheeseburger place. Like, I'm gonna go see if there's any cheeseburgers. You know for a fact there's no fucking cheeseburgers in there. Get over yourself. He goes in there anyway for no reason but to kill a fucking zombie child and then walks out. Like, what was the purpose of that? just making dumb choices just because he wants to.
He wanted that thrill of killing a kid.
I think it was just mostly there just to kind of explore their surroundings while they were doing other things, and he happened upon the kid, and then it shows how he's changed as a person throughout the movie and his resolve now to kill that zombie.
But I will agree, I did think this movie had a very, very, very strong start. Because we went into this saying, like, oh, this is where all the zombie movies get their tropes from. Like, this is the zombie movie of all time, so I was excited for it, and I saw it in the beginning.
They're not zombies, though, dude.
That is true. They're not really zombies. They're just a viral infection. Anyway. But one thing that intrigues me, you guys know this shit more than I do, because you guys studied film or whatever. How do they get, like, just a big ol' open area to film in? Because, like, parts of London are intensely busy, and there were quite a few shots in there where there was absolutely nobody around. That part intrigues me. I'm actually just curious how that works.
That's where all their budget went, dude. They spent $2.4 billion renting out that entire street.
Literally, it was shit like they would, work with the London police, and they'd be like, hey, can we shoot in this location without anyone around? And then I think for one of the scenes, it was the police being like, okay, we can shut down the street for 20 minutes. They're like, okay. And that's part of why the camera quality seems low. This is one of the first major movies shot exclusively on digital cameras. And so the advantage of that is digital cameras are far more portable than traditional film cameras, which means that they could work with those types of restrictions where it was like, hey, you have 20 minutes to film this. And so they could get set up and film and whatever. But yeah, that's how they would shoot a lot of those scenes.
I wasn't super fucked up about the film quality. I think it looked fine. I think it was.
I think you guys look a bit silly complaining about that, to be honest.
The problem with this movie is that it looks like fucking ass. Generally, I think the cinematography is fine, but like the quality of the image is so fucking low that at some point it's legitimately hard to even see what's happening in some parts of the foreground. Like for the most part, I think it's visibly fine, but there are certainly parts where it's very messy, and generally speaking, it's not a very attractive movie to look at, especially with the dichotomy of the first 90% of the movie and then the last 10% scene where they're using traditional film, and it looks so much fucking better. Like, it was to the point where I was watching the movie and I was like, did I download like a really low quality version of it or something? And I had to look it up because it stood out that much to me. Anyways,
dude, I think it helps with the atmosphere of the film, to be honest.
I actually agree with that. I like I said, I think it matches the vibe of the movie, to be completely honest. But whatever.
I'm ready to move to the ranks then.
Fantastic, me too. Tanner, are you lowering your ranks?
I'll go with the lower of my two and say S-.
Personally, I'm gonna bump mine up 1 to a B-.
Dude, I'm pogging right now. You can't see what I'm pogging. I'm sticking with B-.
I'm also gonna stick with B-. I thought it was fine. Yeah. There you go.
I'm hoping that the future films are better made, but still have that like interesting artistic charm that this one did. I am excited for the future of this series because again, I do see its value in this one, but it unfortunately just didn't land.
I think I've seen the second one, but I don't remember anything about it, and it's directed by someone else. The third one is bringing back the original director, so at the very least, I have a lot of confidence in that one.
Do they all have Cillian Murphy in it?
No.
Damn. Anyways, it's a B+ movie. How exciting.